Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the 2024 Seoul Unicorn Challenge session. My name is Jin, and it is my great honor and pleasure to be here as your MC today. The Seoul Unicorn Challenge is a global competition for both domestic and international startups that are less than 7 years old. This challenge evaluates the viability of business models and their potential for global expansion. Through today's competition, we aim to discover startups with outstanding business potential and strategies for entering into the global markets. By verifying their potential for global success, the program seeks to promote the overseas expansion of domestic companies and the entry of international companies into the Korean market as well. So in this session, we will proceed with presentations and evaluations of the top 5 companies that have made it to the final round. Before we begin, please allow me to introduce the judges of the Seoul Unicorn Challenge. Please welcome them with a big round of applause as I introduce them one by one. 네, 제가 지금부터 심사위원분들을 소개해 드릴 텐데요. 제가 한 분 한 분 호명할 때마다 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. First of all, we have Mr. 성재 Ko, the Executive Director of NBH Capital. 환영합니다. 일어나 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 환영합니다. 고맙습니다. And next, I would like to introduce Mr. 성운 정, the Director of N15 Partners. 네, 고맙습니다. And we also have Mr. Ryan Kwon, the Vice President of Big Bang Angels. 환영합니다. Thank you very much. And next, I would like to introduce Mr. Jun Hak-bae, the CEO of Oracle Ventures. Thank you very much for your time. And also, we have Mr. Vincent Chang, the Associate of VNTG. Thank you very much. And we also have Ms. Yoon Jung Choi, the Investment Manager of Kite2 Ventures. And last but not least, I would like to introduce Mr. Soo-hyun Kim, the CSO of Next Unicorn. Thank you very much for all your time. And one note to the speakers as well, please adhere to the allotted time to ensure a fair evaluation. Then, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us now kick off the 2024 Seoul Unicorn Challenge. First of all, I would like to invite Mr. Jung-won Lee, the CEO of ICTK, to deliver his presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause.
Hello. Hi, I'm Justin. I'm the CEO of ICTK. What we do is we create identification for devices. And now we are all born with the ID, right? I look like this and it could be utilized as an ID. So next time you meet me and remember who I am, we can continue our conversation, not worrying about the conversation being talked to someone else, right? But for all the data communication, each device needs to be authenticated and identified. However, they're not born with biological ID. The way they are made is that they simply use a memory and then add your ID onto it. So it's so easy for us to take away the ID and place it onto another memory of the device, right? Or change for something else. So hackers can easily manipulate your credit card, for example. Your key is embedded in a memory. Take it, and then clone it to another credit card. Use it as if it's your own. So having that said, nowadays, we are facing a lot of new technologies like AI, quantum technology. That's great for speeding up and making things easier, controlling the data. But with the AI, we're facing issues with deepfake. How do you know if that image has been made or the movie's been created or versus really taken with your devices or CCTV? Like prosecutor's office, you need some sort of evidence to back your whatever that's been happened. However, with the deepfake, you're not sure whether that picture that's been given is real or fake. You need something to anchor. And for quantum computer, it's really fast, but it's so fast with the qubit, it can even hack the cryptography that we are using. So we need a way to figure that out. So everything on a memory needs to be changed to something that's biometric like ID. So what we do is we create a wafer. And on a wafer, it's all the same design, like identical twins. But during the manufacturing process, there's subtle difference among all these semiconductors. We utilize that subtle difference as an ID, just like a biometric ID. So from that on, we create what's called root of trust, where you can trust whether that device is something that's trustworthy, not something that others can change onto something else. That's the reason why all these things are now hacked. We call what's called via puff technology, but just too deep. So during the manufacturing process of wafer, there's subtle difference. We utilize that as an ID. And we try that for 45 different wafers. Now we are working at Microsoft and other great companies like LG Plus, protecting their devices as authenticated. We are creating a presence in the U.S., working with DoD. And since it's a root of trust, just like your biometric ID, it could be utilized toward various industries that requires any data exchange. So that's where we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. And now we will move on to the Q&A session. So those of you with questions, please proceed with the questions.
Hi. Yeah, thanks so much for the presentation. Oh, you can't hear me?
I cannot.
There we go. Thanks so much for the presentation. Can you hear me now?
You can.
Okay. So I have a question. So is this like another computer chip that you add on to a computer like this? Is that how?
So this is an ID. It's created like a biological ID that's born with like a fingerprint on a semiconductor. So it could be part of any semiconductor, like an IP. And we also have a separate chip itself that's used as an authentication chip. So it can sit right next to a Wi-Fi module or like a BLE chip, all that. So it works as a gatekeeper.
I see. So then, from what I can understand, you guys are fabless. So you guys just design the chips and license out the designs like ARM, right?
Right. We are a fabless company, design house.
I see. What sorts of partnerships do you have with semiconductor manufacturers or designers like NVIDIA?
So partnerships, we have a partnership with the fab companies such as Samsung, Dongbu, and key foundries of SK. We also work with Global Foundry and others. Okay.
So you're working primarily with foundries as opposed to...
Foundries and also with device makers and some companies like one of the big seven techs, big tech seven, I'll call it.
I see. Yeah, thank you.
So it works like those Apple devices where it requires authentication for any connectivities. So if you use a fake device and it blocks it away, so it's like that.
Hi. Thanks for the presentation and congratulations on your IPO, first of all.
Thank you.
Right. I got two questions. One being about your VIA-Puff manufacturing technology. Does it create any structural weaknesses or vulnerabilities in terms of manufacturing process?
Right. So Puff is well, every chip carries over hundreds of thousands or to millions of via holes. It's a connectivity among all these transistors. So you see, like if it's just a horizontal and then there are like many transistors, you need all these to be connected. But you cannot connect just horizontally. So you need to go up and down to make sure all these connectivities are done, right? So have those connected. You have the holes, vertical holes, and fill it in with the tungsten or copper, right? So you need to have some size of hole to have it fill, right? And we create a randomness by shrinking the size of the hole. And we cannot dictate the outcome whether the hole is created or not. But once it's created or not created, it's filled with tungsten, so never changes. Okay, so the beauty of the most important part of puff technology, that's what we call, is steadiness. Once it's created, it should never change because it's used as an ID. If it's changed, you cannot claim yourself as is.
Okay.
Because it's been changed.
All right. So no physical vulnerabilities as on.
Yeah, so vulnerability is very important.
Okay. Quick second question is, what does your competitive landscape look like, and what exactly is your
What's the competitive?
landscape? Competitive
Competing
landscape.
companies?
Yes.
There are two other companies having similar technologies. One is in Netherlands-based. It's NXP. It's a Netherlands company, Intrinsic ID. It's been bought out by Synopsys early this year. And then we also have a Taiwanese company. It's called eMemory. It's already like $1 billion company, creating various IP to TSMC. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I also have another question.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I want to know if it's vulnerable to reverse engineering.
Reverse technologies?
Yeah, reverse engineering.
Reverse for the
because
hacking, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great question. Utilizing Puff technology, via Puff, what we call, is to avoid any hacking, reverse engineering. Because writing some information on a memory is very vulnerable, right? But having the Puff as part of a via hole is really tough to make the distinction because we are only using 3,000 to 4,000 via holes to create the randomness out of millions. It's almost impossible for anyone to really reverse it. And there's ST Micro. They've been trying to hack our chip for the last 7 months. They failed it and gave it up. So I mean, if you have the definite ID which you can trust, the communication is much easier. You don't need to go for multi-level sort of authentication. So it's like for banking, if you utilize your phone to send $1,000, you get ARS call or OTP card to make sure that using the second factor to make sure that it's you making that decision, right? But if the device is trustworthy with this Puff technology, because they know that it's the only one that can do that, just like myself walking into the bank, being identified, the same thing. So it makes the communication a whole lot easier. And with a lot of data going on with this AI environment, among all these, communication among all these devices, they could be authenticated as is, and easier for them to communicate, saving a lot of energy, time, and everything. And it's actually born from Department of Defense, from the U.S. military. But there's no company that could really mass produce such technology. And ICTK is the first company in the world to mass produce it in 2017. And this is Hanyang University's invention. between two professors. One is a cybersecurity expert, and the other was a semiconductor expert, not knowing anything about cybersecurity. So that's how it's been created. And we have over 130 patents globally.
I believe we have time left for one last question.
Could you give us some detail about your growth trajectory? Like what's your targeted revenue and maybe next 3 years?
With the IP, our targeted revenue could go as far as $30 million a year, just profit. It's an IP. And then with the chip business, now we're going CC level. It's a common criteria. It's a level. We are second to Samsung Electronics only in Korea to have that done. And with the security chip for like credit cards and passports, it's coming up. So with that, we are expecting about $200 million revenue. And as you know, the fabless, the profit margin is huge.
Thank you very much. We have time left for one short question. We have around 2 minutes left.
Thank you, Justin, about your speech. And would you let us know more about the competing edge compared with the NXP, Netherlands company? Because of everyone know about the NXP and.
I mean the technology comparison.
Yes.
So we are also working with Rambus. Rambus is a globally known, actually leader in security IP companies in the US. And they are actually partners to that Netherlands company. However, they found some issues with their design. They're utilizing SRAM, the memory, to create the randomness. But as it goes smaller nanotechnology, like 7 nano or 10 nano, something like that, they get skewed. It should be randomness. Randomness, we're talking about 50% chance, right? But it gets skewed. Then you need to have a much more sort of space to create the targeted randomness. So they're suffering from that. So they are moving away from that technology to our technology. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation and the Q&A session. The time is up, so you may now return to your seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a presentation by Mr. Eun-kwang Lee, the Vice President of Perig Aerospace. Please give him a big round of applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Eun-kwang Lee. I'm the VP of Propulsion at Perig Aerospace. I'm very pleased to be here today. I would like to express my gratitude to all the consumers in here. So as the time is strongly limited, I would like to briefly introduce our company and our marketing strategy to global market with our launch service. So we are Perig Aerospace. We founded in 2018. We are just passing through the startup's Death Valley. We are running our company across the Korean peninsula, and our headquarters is located at the Daejeon. About 90 workers are struggle to develop our launch vehicle and enabling our launch service in Daejeon, Okcheon, and Jeju as well. We are targeting to providing our launch vehicle with a cost-effective way of accessing the space to the small satellite customer. And also, we are recently expanding our business to the space propulsion hardwares with the technology related to the space launch vehicle. And this slide shows the technical aspect of our launch vehicle. Our launch vehicle is composed of the carbon composite fuselage, which is in-housely made by Perig Aerospace and powered by 9 methane engine. We are using liquid oxygen and liquid natural gas, which compose of over 90% of methane as a fuel to power this launch vehicle. as the new space era started with the cost effectiveness in this field. So we are targeting to enabling our launch vehicle to be a reusable launch vehicle by developing our own way of making this vehicle reusable. So we are trying to make all the key hardwares and technologies in-house, which includes the launch platform as well. And we develop our own methane engine in-house, avionics, and the entire launch vehicles through the vertical integration in our manufacturing factory. And also, recently we tried to showcase our launch capabilities by using Mariner launch platform. As you can see in this slide, we are preparing a suborbital launch in Jeju Island. Probably in near future, we can show our capability. We can use our own technology to get to the space with our launch vehicle. The problem we wanted to solve is that still there are a lot of small satellite launch demands in market, but still only 2 active companies can provide launch service in this market. The first one is SpaceX in the United States, and the second one is also United States company, Rocket Lab. So Perig wants to offer the affordable way of accessing space by aforementioned technologies. So first and the most important thing is, I repeatedly say, the cost effectiveness. We try to vertically integrate all the production facilities from the rocket engine to the propellant tank. We try to enable the cost effectiveness, and also we are targeting to use various launch sites, which includes the European and also Southeast Asian launch sites, to make this launch service as a more accessible to the satellite customer. So here are the marketing strategy of our company. The first one is, as I said, this year we would like to showcase our company's launch capabilities in Jeju Island. By leveraging this, we would like to expand our international cooperation with other Philippines or Swedish space corporations. And also, recently, Korean Space Agency, KASA, has been established in Sachon, and they help us a lot of global businesses as well. So throughout the Seoul Unicorn Challenge, we have 5 goals to achieve. As you can see here, this challenge will help us to expand our capability in the global market, and we try to enhancing our sales market capability across the globe. So here are the roadmap. This year we are focusing on the suborbital launch, and next year we try to launch our vehicle into the space. After that, from the 2026, we slightly increase the number of launches and reducing the cost, and make this launch service as the best way to access the space.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Here, this is the end of my presentation. If you have any question, please give us a question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and we will now proceed to the Q&A session.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Could you kindly show us the cost and revenue?
I cannot hear you. Could you please speak a little bit louder?
Can you hear it? Can you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you kindly show us revenue and cost comparison?
Expected revenue and profit strategy. Actually, by one launch, we can earn about 5 million money, but we are expecting about 10 launches per year in near future. But when you see the financial report from the every publicly released company's financial report, then you can see the almost most of revenue comes from the space components, not even from the launch service. We are trying to expand our hardware to the space propulsion things and the satellite-related components to make this company more profitable.
So, would you let us know about your competitor in Korea and what's different with your competitor and competitor?
Cannot hear you because
Yeah. Understood. Would you let us know more about your competitor in Korea?
yeah, there are 3 different companies in Korea which try to make this kind of launch service in the market. Compared to them, we have our own technologies from tank production, engine development, and the combustor production facility. We make these kind of things in-house, so we can produce our engine with a very low cost. And then the tank itself, from the design to the manufacturing and testing, we vertically integrated all the processes in-house. Yeah, vertical integration itself takes a lot of money at first, but still it gives a lot of opportunity to produce our launch vehicle in a cost-effective way. So I think making the key technology in-house is the large difference between the Perig and other domestic competitors.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Because every time I love SpaceX launches, I watch it all the time. But then whenever they retrieve the rocket component, right, it happens at sea because of the rocket trajectory. How do you retrieve? Because I know Korea is surrounded by foreign nations on all sides. Do you have the capacity to get it, retrieve it at sea, or are you developing that?
So you mean the launch site issue, right?
No, the landing vehicle, the landing.
Landing flight.
Yeah.
That's why we are closely cooperate with the Philippine Space Agency, because we have Okinawa along the launch trajectory. So we cannot put our launch vehicle first stage near the Japanese island. So we are making our first stage larger than conventional launch vehicle, and so it can reach to the sea near the Philippines. So we are discussing this kind of reusable and how we gonna get back our launch vehicle near Philippine Sea. So yeah, throughout that collaboration, we try to make our launch vehicle reusable.
Just a quick follow-up. I understand that rocket launches usually happen near the equator due to the rotation of the Earth. Is there I guess cost? Are there costs associated with launching further up north here in Korea?
There are 2 things, I think. Yeah, as you said, equatorial launch has a lot of advantage over inclination for the many customers. But still in Korea, by launching our launch vehicle in Jeju Island, we can reach the most popular orbit, which is the sun-synchronous orbit, about the 97 degree of inclination. So most of Earth observation satellites will go this kind of orbit to see their target territory. So still, Jeju Island also has a lot of launch opportunities for this kind of Earth observation satellites. And also, by enabling this kind of domestic launch, the satellite operator itself can reduce their launch campaign cost. So when you wanted to launch your satellite in United States, you have to stay over 1 month, over 4 engineers in a launch site. But it means that it still is a lot of cost. So by enabling the Jeju launch site, you can even go back to your home even in the weekends. So we can provide this kind of also like customer-friendly launch site by using the Jeju launch site.
I also have a question on. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's more and more low Earth orbital satellites flying around the space, and I'm hearing a lot of opinions about the area getting crowded. So how do you plan your launch? Do you calculate the trajectory of the launch so that it doesn't clash with other satellites?
Yeah, actually, there are kind of good question. Actually, there are monitoring system which lower Earth orbit itself is very crowded and getting more crowded, but still there are a lot of space itself. So we are not really worrying about any other collisions during the launch activities, but still we are also focusing on how we can move our upper stage launch vehicle to doing kind of like capability of moving in space. So that's why we are expanding our business by making the rocket engine technologies to the space propulsion technologies. So by doing this, we can give a ability to avoid all the space debris around the low Earth orbit.
We have around 3 minutes left.
I have a quick follow-up. Is there enough demand in Korea to support this kind of service? Because I feel like in SpaceX, a lot of global they vacuum up a lot of global demand for this sort of service. I'm just wondering, because
In Korea, actually, the most of demands from the military purpose. Actually, the military itself wanted to see how North Korean works. So that's why they wanted to launch their own Earth observation satellite into the orbit. And also, there are a lot of demands in the southern East Asian countries as well as European countries, but still they don't have a ability to launch their satellite in a near area. So that's why we are focusing on making our launch site even in Jeju as well as the Philippines, as also in Sweden as well.
are you concerned about global competition at all? Because I know Japan is looking strategically at this space as a future industry, right?
Yeah, right. But the thing is that the technology barrier itself is really high. So if you enable this technology, then itself can be a boundary. So that's why still a lot of our companies wanted to manufacture and develop their own launch vehicle, but still there are only active 2 companies in global market. So that's why we are trying to make our launch vehicle and key technologies in-house to enabling this launch service.
We have about 50 seconds left.
Okay, just quickly, final question. I love this space, so I'm just curious. It costs a lot of money to build this rocket. Like, how long do you foresee spending until profitability?
That's very good question. And recently we are also thinking about that problem, financial problem as well. But still, we think more than at least we have to try our test launch at least 3 times. It means that when you convert into the financial things, then you can figure out how much money we still need for enabling these technologies in Korea.
Thank you very much, and just in time. Thank you very much for the presentation and the
Thank you very
Q&A
much.
session. Thank you once again. And next, we will have a presentation delivered by Mr. Ron Yugon Lee, the Vice President of Global Operations at Banf. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause.
Hi, I'm Ron, VP of Business at Banf, revolutionizes the safety of logistics and future of mobility by making tires smarter and intelligent. Not too many people think about logistics unless they're passing through a giant truck on the highway. But the reality is that trucking is plumbing our economy with a $1 trillion market size just within the US. However, one of the biggest cause of accidents, especially when in trucking, is from the tires. Most people, focusing on the driver error from the ADAS, LiDARs, and radars, but not too many companies focusing on second and third biggest cause of issues. I'm not just talking about the nowadays vehicles, but also for the EVs and modern vehicles for the future, because they're heavier, high torque, and also because run 24/7, the tire stress is expected to increase, and also the tire data will even be more important than nowadays. So we are solving this issue by putting a sensor to the inner line of the tire and be able to apply our machine learning technologies on the basis of our tri-axis accelerometer sensor. We be able to provide not just the tire pressure and temperature that nowadays everybody does, but also the tire tread, wheel line for the fuel saving, loosening lug nuts to prevent tire detachment while the vehicle's in motion, road surface, and also the tire load measurement for the trucking company's fleet optimization. If it's so good, why there were no companies trying to get in this field? Of course, there were a lot of attempts from the tire companies or sensor companies. However, the very first and foremost thing in order to do the data analysis is the sufficient power supply to the tire-mounted sensor. So they tried wired power, but tire rotates, so wire breakages happen. Inductive method, when you're charging your phone, the distance limitations happen because tire to the vehicle, it goes up to 30cm. RF, just not enough energy. Energy harvesting, you don't want to install every single time when you're replacing the tire. This is the reason why existing tire pressure and monitoring systems are utilizing the coin battery cells, but they have a capacity limitations. Which means if they do the real-time sampling, it dies in a day. Even though you use a really expensive coin battery cells, it still needs to be replaced before you replace your tires. So we not only developed the sensor, but the profiler, which is a resonance space wireless charging hub. So basically, when the tire missed the smart profiler's range, it's getting wireless charged. As the sensor received the sufficient power, we'll be able to apply our real-time, high-frequency machine learning technologies to provide various features. I'll show you how it works. So lightning part of the tire is representing the sensor is charging and communicating in real time wirelessly. So this is the transmitter. It's connected to the vehicle's battery, leveraging this vehicle's battery. It's wirelessly charging the sensor when they hit this range. In order to do that, by doing that, we'll be able to apply our machine learning technologies, providing various features. Not just the predictive maintenance features, but we're able to save earth and save fuels from the wheel alignment feature and tire load measurement. So we wanted to save human lives and also fuel and earth at the same time. So we have main business models to the trucking company and also the vehicle OEMs. Tire manufacturers are more of a friends, and we are officially working with amazing companies like DHL, Volvo, by giving them an ROI, return on investment of 3.5x. So as mentioned, that we're not just scratching the surface for the nowadays vehicles, trucking companies, but also self-driving trucking companies like Too Simple, and we've been working with 30+ sustainability leaders in this field. The reason behind we be able to scale so fast and product out in the market so fast is that we're a team from LS Electric, formerly LG's wireless charging and communication division. By doing that, by understanding the tire digitalization, the very first and foremost step is the sufficient power supply. We be able to scale this fast and innovate the market leaders via mobility. Three last bullet points that I wanted to highlight. We're easy to integrate, simply gluing our sensor to the inner line of the tire. That's basically it. And we have 30+ use cases, which means we know what OEMs or trucking companies knows. So we're quite professional in that. Most importantly, what I wanted to highlight is that we are not another cost-saving company. Of course, we save fuel and cost from wheel alignment feature, but also we wanted to save human lives as our mission statement as stated in our mission statement. So we wanted to begin a new future with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we will now proceed to the Q&A session.
Yeah. So, just curious. Do you sell this to? I'm curious about your business model. How do you get this into the tires? Do you charge per tire? Do you have a software solution where it requires a monthly subscription? How do you make money?
So basically, we have 4 business models. The biggest is for the trucking company like DHL, who have more than 100,000 of assets within their inventories. So we basically glue our sensor to their inner line of the tire and be able to install our device, the transmitter, to their mud flap or wheel wall of the vehicle and connect it to its battery.
Do you provide the installation services as well?
I mean, the reason behind we are working with like DHL, this large fleet companies, is because they have their own workshops. So they're quite familiar with installation of the TPMS. So they demount the tires and mount it back every single time. So we didn't have any issues on the installation part yet. The second business model, I wanted to elaborate this to the trucking company. So since they're, commercial vehicles, production planning, we'd be able to, sell as a part, so hardware sales, and also we do the licensing deal with the tire manufacturers and also to the road management companies as our sensor be able to provide the complementary solution as we can read off the pothole depths and friction of the road as well.
It says here you charge $20 to $50 per month. What is the unit? I guess what's the per unit? Like how are you defining $20 to $50 per month?
Yes. So, well, if you use all the feature that we provide, we charge $50 per month per vehicle. But we don't charge any, hardware fees for the trucking companies.
Oh, you don't charge hardware fees.
We don't charge hardware.
So that's a loss leader for you.
Excuse me?
That's a loss leader for you.
Well, we believe the market penetration is the very first and foremost thing that we wanted to focus on. To be frankly with you, I'm not going to lie. Our kind of, how do I say, we're still at the, our prime cost is about 90% at this moment. But we believe the market penetration is first and foremost thing that we wanted to, achieve first in order to penetrate the market as a whole in the US and EU first.
And just one final question, and then I'll give the mic to somebody else.
Thank you.
But how do you get the road surface data from a non-contactive method?
We do a contact method because tire is the sole point of the contact to the road, and
but like your sensors aren't touching the road, right? So how do you get the road surface data?
Well, we utilize our tri-axis axometer sensor, and compared to cameras or visions or radars based solution, we consider ourselves more direct compared to them.
So then, using that, you could get like ice surface data and like slippage and whatnot.
In a mu figure.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question about your addressable market size domestically and globally? And second question is, do you have any global competitors in this field?
Yes, to answer your first question, our primary and foremost market that we wanted to tap in is the U.S. market. Trucking size itself is $1 trillion, but we are not actively, operating our trucking business within South Korea because the market is quite different. Because for example, Daehantung or CJ Logistics, they tend to not own their instead of owning their own trucks, they get to hire the truckers who have their own trucks. So. Targeting the trucking company who has thousands and 10,000s of assets within their inventory, it made more sense for us and for the clients as well in a saving cost and the ROI by providing a real-time heat alignment, tire load information, and also predictive maintenance features. That's the reason why we address the U.S. market and EU market first. And to address your second question, it's about. What was your second question? Sorry. Competitors. Many tire companies try to get in this field, but what trucking companies don't want to lose is their purchasing power. So let's say Michelin, they developed this ultimate, solution, but they don't want to spend their $80 million just because they have these features. So as we can do the aftermarket sales and be able to apply to any tire manufacturers, products, we believe we do have the competitive advantages on that. And there are so many companies who still try to get in this field. But as mentioned, the very first and foremost thing in the tire digitalization is the sufficient power supply. But RF, doesn't make sense. Inductive, conductive, distance limitations happens. Energy harvesting, coin battery cells have its, limitations. This is the reason behind we be able to provide all different features by using a single sensor.
Okay, based on your speech, there's a lot of some kind of a collaboration with the OEM, global OEM, like it's Volvo or Hyundai Motor Group. So maybe what is Banf next phase? Next phase means collaborate with the global OEM. What else?
Yes, thank you for your question. So our target for by 2027, we wanted to assume that 1% of the total trucking market, which U.S. trucking market. There is 4 million tractors in the U.S. and 8 million trailers in the U.S., which means by doing a calculation, it means we'd be able to achieve 200 million US dollar just in the 1% of the U.S. market. And considering DHL owns 90,000 assets within the inventories, if they just come up, to us in the next day, they wanted to, implement our solution to their half of their vehicles, we already achieved the 1% of the total, 1% of the U.S. trucking markets.
It's quite interesting because previously I was working with a pothole depth detection through the AI vision company working together. So based on that experience, pothole depth detection is very important in smart city. And is there any kind of a case study about the Banf case study collaborate with the smart city?
Thank you for your question. So our business model within the road surface, information, we already had this, CITS projects going on at the Hwasong region mainly, and also Saudi Arabia, some part of it. So what's important of this, pothole depths is that, road companies or, road management governments, they have a limited budget. So what they really needed to know is that where to repair first, but vision-based methodologies have limitations knowing its depths of the potholes. So we're not saying that we're, replacing them, but we are more of a complementary solution, giving them more accurate and, real-time data, be able to optimize their, saving lives and saving road conditions as well. And also, we are working with the mapping companies like TomTom. So in order to do that, when they do their main, daily jobs, like, police cars or, just, waste management cars, they can gather the real-time road data while they are doing this main daily routine as well.
Actually, this question is a continuous question because last week I saw a news in Namsan. There's one bus is a slipper on the road and some people are injured and because of the road paint was melted of a high temperature. So how did you get a slipper road condition data through the road surface? More some detail, please?
Yes. So I'll give you an example. There is the same road, but there is two different tires, winter tire and the summer tire. Road coefficient is different. It's comparative coefficient that we have to calculate. By doing a vision-based, methodologies, there is a limitation in that. And by utilizing our y-axis deformation and, apply our machine learning technologies after that, we have more than 92% of the accuracies on this. And you can find this, data on our appendix side after that you'll be able to find.
Thank you.
So about the charging technology, did you develop it in-house? And do you have any other applications for that technology? Do you have any plans to, expand that application?
So we believe the patent map is very, important. So we renew our patent map, global patent map, every single January. And then, which means that we not only, strategically, plan and, develop our patents, PCT and international patents. We secure already 24, not just on the wireless charging parts, but also the algorithms on, predicting the various features that we provide as well. So our, technological competitiveness is within these 3 bullet points: sensor fusion, wireless charging, and adaptive AI. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. I don't know too much about the industry, so I'll ask this question. Who is going to be the legal entity or take the legal obligations in terms of a sensor failure, which can translate into an actual accident or?
Yes, so I cannot mention the name, but we're working with 4 from top 5 tire manufacturers. The reason behind we are working with them closely is not just to rely on that, but if they have the certifications on if this vendor is trustworthy or not, I think we have the market understanding that sensor have the validity, and we are kept working on our certificates, including we're certified on IP67, 69 at 400,000 miles of the durability testings.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for the presentation and the Q&A session. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we're left with our last presenter. Now we will hear from Ms. Minji Stephanie An, the CEO of Katius. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet her with a big round of applause.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie, the CEO and a co-founder of Katius, and we make this adorable interactive smart toy Kati for young children. Screen time. The word often triggers feeling of guilt among parents. Did you know that kids under 8 years old, they spend more than 1,000 hours per year on screen time? This is almost equivalent to 1.5 months out of a year, which is a very long time. Then why do kids end up watching so much screen? Parents, they have to cook a meal, they have to, do the laundries and dishes, and they have to go to the bathroom. What about in the car and in the restaurants? But the excessive screen time can cause various developmental issues for children's development, such as language, social problems, ADHD, etc. And parents these days, they are really aware of the fact that this is really not good for their children. Scholars at the reputable institutions, they all highlight the same thing. Kids in this important stage of their development, what they need is two-way conversations and interactions, not the screen time. So this led us to think, what if there's an AI companion who can talk to kids? I'm proud to introduce you to Kati, the first AI conversational friend for children. Kati is composed of these three components. One, our special multi-turn chatbot engine for children, which serves as the brain. Two, the dancing smart toy hardware, which serves as the physical touch point. And three, the mobile app for parents, which ensures perfect personalization. Then what makes Kati different from existing AI speakers and other AI smart toys? Similar products in the market so far, they only used one question, one answer, single turn chatbots that were built for adults, which are not suitable for child-friendly conversations. While Kati remembers previous conversations and it shares continuous context-aware multi-turn conversations with the children. And what's more important is that it only speaks in easy and fun sentences, which is tailored to the level of young children to keep them engaged and focused for a long time. Second, Kati is all about personalization. It calls children by their names and incorporates other unique user info into conversations. And of course, our children's corpus and pronunciation enhancement technology allows Kati to understand children's imperfect pronunciations. Let's watch this video now.
I want ice cream.
Yeah, it was a video about the girl can pronounce everything but ice cream, but instead she says kamtono. Kati can understand even if your child calls an ice cream kamtono. Kati offers a number of fun features that create comprehensive and interactive experiences for the young users. And our main service is to share 15 to 20-minute back and forth conversations with the children. And we offer diverse conversational content, including topics like animals, seasons, sound quizzes, role-playings, etc. And we also offer other innovative and unique features like interactive stories and interactive drawings. We launched our product in the Korean market last year in April after 4 years of dedicated research and development. And we have been receiving highly positive user feedback, as you can see. And since our first global appearance at the CES last year, where we won the CES Innovation Award, we have been receiving highly significant interests from our global users, the general public, and our potential global partners as well. Kati is being used in more than 20 countries at the moment. While majority of the users are Korean families living abroad, there are also foreigners who are willing to learn Korean language, thanks to BTS and Blackpink. And other IP providers are also showing interest in our platform. And last month, we launched our first collaborative product with Lotte World. And since then, we are in discussions with other IP providers as well to bring more beloved characters into life. Our initial target market is approximately $400 million, and our first global expansion target is the United States. The conversational AI, the era of conversational AI, it has just begun, and it's growing rapidly, and it's such an exciting space to be in right now. Our goal is to be the first AI companion for children and grow as the only AI that preserves childhood memories of the users. And we have a strong team to do it. Our team is a group of dedicated experts who devoted ourselves for the last 5 years to one single mission, to provide only the best for children. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. And now we will proceed to the Q&A session.
I'll start us off. Just quickly, how much does it cost?
It costs between 13만 원 and 15만 원 in Korea.
Just for the doll.
Oh, and the hardware inside and all the content.
Oh, so the software is included in the price?
Yes.
So there's no monthly subscription?
There's no monthly subscription for now.
For now, do you have plans?
Yeah, we do have plans. Once we introduce the English version maybe in Korea, there is a really high needs in Korea, and a lot of our current users are asking for the English version, and we always get the request, and I think there will be needs from a lot of people, and we might start the subscription model. We are still in discussions.
Okay. And just a quick follow-up in terms of your linguistic AI, because I use ChatGPT quite often, and even on my phone, and the natural language interaction using voice is actually quite natural. I was a bit surprised. How is this different? Are you just a ChatGPT wrapper, or do you have a fundamental foundation model? What is it?
We are using our built-in chatbot for children. So we've been building this scenario-based chatbot for the last 4 years, and then now we are actually starting to using the LLM, because we have been collecting a lot of children's data for the last 4 years, and then now we are sure that we can provide only safe sentences and content to the kids. But previously, it was really risky for us to just, use the LLMs for the children's conversational service, because you never know what the AI will be talking to your child.
I see. So you're essentially building an LLM from scratch. Is that how I should understand it?
No, we are the foundation will be our multi-turn chatbot engine, and because it's not like the AI speakers that we've been using. The AI speakers, we've been asking questions first, and then it gets you the answer, and that's it, right? But for Kati, because its purpose is to engage children in a long-term conversation, the initiation is not from the human, it's from the Kati. So once the parent selects a topic on the mobile app, then it's going to be talking to your child within that context, right? So what was the question? Sorry.
So I'm just curious, you said you're training your own LLM, you have a scenario-based algorithm, and you're trying to combine the two. Is the technology proprietary, or are you using open source?
Oh yeah. So what I was gonna say, it has to be the the big picture, it has to be the scenario based, but to generate the single sentences and safe sentences, we have been using the llama to, and then we are on test.
I see. So then, final question. If you want to expand language bases, would you have to collect a different set of data? Would you have to collect a data set for that new language, or is that pre-programmed in using Llama?
Both. I think our strength is in content. So at the moment, in order to enter the American market, we are making the English version, and then we are using the LLM to switch the Korean version into English. And then we get the native speakers to go through all the content so that it's all natural and safe for the young children.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. So as I understand, the whole purpose of Catty is to get our sweet baby's eyes off of phone screens, which means it has to be able to hold lengthy conversations with kids. Am I right?
Yep.
So how then would you, do you have the capability to cater to the different personality and needs of different children? Like, how do you captivate all these different children? Do you just have like a singular path of engagement, or how does it work?
I think to start with, we have we can't really satisfy 100% of the users, of course. I think that's why we took more than 4 years for the research and development before we finally could launch our product last year. It was really hard to make something and keep children in the conversations. So we are working a lot on the personalization part, and then we have built our AI model to detect and diagnose children's language development status and their recent interests and stuff, so that we can provide a report to the parents. And then we do also have the recommendation models as well, so that kids can mainly spend time to talk to Kati on their interests.
Okay, so just to follow up on that, so to basically summarize 4 years of research and your strength in your model and your chatbot system, like what would it be? What's the strength compared to the current LLMs?
I think it's the our chatbot. For example, kids, they are so different from adults. They have different purposes of using AI. They don't want to get, the most correct answer from the AI. They just want to have fun. And their pronunciation is really bad, and their concentration span is really short. And I think in order to keep them interested in and engage in the conversation for a long time, we have a lot of features. And one of them would be like sound effects. So this is the chatbot, includes various sound effects and very lively, so that kids, maybe they are losing some of the concentration, and then with the sound effect, they come back to talk to Kati and they really like it. So those kind of skills that we have in our chatbot, I think that's our strength. And the other part would be the content.
Okay, so basically studying children's psychology and applying what you've learned to the LLM for it to be able to captivate children continuously, right? Which means that I'm interested in your retention. Like, what does it look like? Retention?
The length of the months they are using.
Yes, children, like, do they continuously use it for like 6 months, a year?
Yeah,
or
they do. They do. And we have two strategies. So one is to keep them interested in, so they want to come back to talk to Kati once in a while. And our second strategy would be the parents would tell their kids to talk to Kati for the education purpose. So because we are constantly updating new content, and we let our users know by sending them push messages and upload them on our Instagram, parents would come back and to let their children to experience the new content as well. So that's how we are maintaining the high retention.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the details. But in terms of numbers, what exactly is your retention and your churn rate?
Our MAU you are interested in?
Churn of the children using Caddy, like what's the proportion of the children dropping out, stop using Caddy after month 1, month 2, for example?
I would say maybe 10% would be using Kati for less than 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I actually do have a fault. How are you selling this?
It's mainly B2C sales on online. And we just started the offline sales from last month as well at the Hyundai department store.
So you have your own e-commerce front, or are you using e-commerce? Like
Yeah, we use the e-commerce platforms such as Naver, CJ, SSG.
In terms of international, I guess logistics and brand distribution partners, do you have a go-to-market strategy for that? Are you in talks with anybody?
So we just, I think for now, until now, I just tried to narrow it down. We didn't want to, expand our channels, sales channels too broad because it will be out of management. So now we are starting to expand our channels to offline stores, including Toys R Us. And because we have launched our product with Lotte World, the products are in Lotte World as well, and Lotte has been helping us to get into some of the marts as well. Yeah.
And just another follow-up question. It says here that you're aiming for ages 2 to 12, but like those are very different demographics.
Yeah. All
How
right.
are you planning to address?
Does
all-
it say on the slide? All right. So
in your appendix it says that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So our main target would be 2 to 5, and then because it's until 12 years old, I was meaning by when we finally launched the English version in Korea, even primary school students will be using it for practicing English.
So then you would want to repurpose this as an English education tool?
Maybe replacement for the native tutors. They don't have to spend a lot of money on like meeting native tutors, but they can just stay home talking to Kati every day and practice their English every day.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation
you.
and the Q&A session as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, with the last pitch on the adorable AI toy, we have come to an end of the IR presentation session. Thank you once again to all the presenters for your wonderful IR pitches, and we will now wait until the judges are done finalizing the scores. 네, 참석자 여러분 정말 오래 기다리셨습니다. 서울 유니콘 챌린지 현장 이벤트는 이제 곧 마감이 될 예정입니다. 혹시 완료하시지 않은 분들께서는 설문조사를 속히 완료해 주시면 대단히 고맙겠습니다. 오늘 서울 유니콘 챌린지 최종 결선에 오른 5개의 기업 발표를 모두 이렇게 들어봤는데요. 과연 어떻게 들어보셨을지 매우 궁금합니다. 반도체 보안칩부터 우주 발사체, 글로벌 음악 차트, 타이어 안전 솔루션, 그리고 마지막으로 방금 들어보셨던 AI 챗봇 인형까지 정말 다양한 스타트업들을 만나볼 수 있었는데요. 40대 1의 경쟁률을 뚫고 이 자리에 오른 우리 기업들이 또 세계로 널리 뻗어나가는 그런 상상을 잠깐 동안 해보았습니다. 아까 말씀드린 대로 오늘 최종 결선에 오른 5개의 기업은 최종 순위가 이제 매겨질 텐데 본 세션이 끝나고 본 스테이지 바로 뒤편에 위치해 있는 트라이 스테이지에서 진행되는 Everything Awards에서 순위와 함께 5시 30분에 이제 시상식이 진행이 될 예정입니다. 여러분들께서 마음에 두셨던 기업은 과연 어떤 상을 수상하게 될지 여러분 끝까지 많은 관심 부탁드리겠습니다. 그럼 이제 최종 결선 참관객 이벤트 설문을 마감하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 이렇게 해서 마감이 되었고요. 잠시 당첨자 추첨 결과를 기다리면서 저희가 오늘 심사를 진행해 주신 평가위원분들의 소감을 들어보도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 영어로 모두 심사를 진행해 주시느라 고생이 많으셨을 텐데 소감은 한국어로 편하게 해주셔도 되고 또 영어가 편하신 분들께서는 영어로 해주시면 되겠습니다. 먼저 고성재 위원님부터 짧게 한마디 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 몇몇 기업들은 제가 다른 기회에서 IR을 몇 번 들었던 회사인데 그 사이에 훨씬 더 디벨롭이 많이 된 것 같고 5개 기업 모두 국내뿐만 아니라 해외 진출 가능성이 아주 높아 보였고 지난번에 봤을 때보다 훨씬 더 단단해져 있는 모습이어서 보기 좋았습니다. 잘 들었습니다.
네, 좋은 말씀 고맙습니다. 네, 다음은 정성훈 위원님께도 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 모두 준비하시느라 고생 많으셨고 지금 앞으로 이제 글로벌 진출을 하기 위한 발판이 많이 마련된 것 같아서 지금 앞으로 많이 기대가 되고 좀 아는 기업도 있고 아직 오늘 처음 봤던 기업도 있는데 많이 찾아볼 수 있도록 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 좋은 말씀 고맙습니다. 이어서 또 권혁찬 위원님께도 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 오늘 발표에 참여해준 ICTK, 페리지 에어로스페이스, 한터글로벌, 반프, 카티우스까지 너무나 다 좋은 기업들이어서 정말 우위를 점하기 굉장히 어려웠는데요. 평소에도 눈여겨보고 있던 다양한 파트에 좋은 기업들이 저는 분명히 확신합니다. 이 중에서 분명히 유니콘이 나올 수 있다고 생각을 하고요. 그 다음에 해당 기업들이 모두 다 글로벌 시장에 레디니스가 있는 기업으로 확신하고 있고 앞으로도 굉장히 잘 될 것임을 확신하고 저희 빅뱅 엔젤스도 함께하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 고맙습니다. 이 중에서 분명히 유니콘 기업이 나올 수 있다라는 확신의 말씀을 전해주셨습니다. 이어서 배준학 위원님께도 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 몇 년 전에 시드 단계에서 뵀던 기업을 유니콘 챌린지라고 해서 뵈니까 되게 놀랬고요. 어려운 환경 속에서도 잘 성장해 주신 기업들에게 무한한 박수를 보냅니다. 화이팅!
네, 고맙습니다. 네, 이렇게 많은 성장을 이루어준 저희 기업들에게 또 격려의 말씀을 해주셨고요. 이어서 장 빈센트 위원님께도 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 참가하신 기업들 너무 고생 많으셨고요. 저는 5개 기업들 다 모두 해외에서 굉장히 준수하고 성공적인 퍼포먼스를 보여줄 수 있다고 기대합니다. 네, 굉장히 좋은 시간이었습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 좋은 말씀 고맙습니다. 이어서 최윤정 위원님께도 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 우선 오늘 발표 준비하시느라고 너무 고생 많으셨고요. 저는 개인적으로 제가 보통은 이제 소부장이나 뭐 테크 이쪽을 주로 보다 보니까 한정된 분야를 많이 보는데 오늘 이렇게 유니콘 챌린지 참석해서 다양한 분야 기업들 만나뵐 수 있게 돼서 너무 반가웠습니다. 앞으로 해외 진출도 파이팅 하시고 잘 되시길 바라겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 고맙습니다. 네, 그리고 마지막으로 김수현 위원님께도 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 다른 분들이 너무 좋은 말씀 많이 해주셔가지고 저는 좀 짧게 말씀드리자면은 스스로에 대해서 반성을 많이 하게 되는 것 같습니다. 열심히 열정 있게 멋진 사업을 진행하시는 걸 보고 저도 많이 반성하게 됐습니다. 화이팅입니다.
네, 고맙습니다. 이렇게 해서 심사위원분들의 소감까지 들어보았고요. 아직 이벤트가 집계 중이라고 전달을 받았습니다. 이제 곧 마감을 한다고 하니까요. 혹시 응모하지 않으신 분들께서는 여기 배너에 나와 있는 QR코드 스캔하셔서 꼭 마지막까지 응모해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. 저희가 스타벅스 5만 원권 5명 그리고 배달의 민족 5만 원권 5분께 드릴 예정입니다. 지금 배너가 곳곳에 보이고 있는데요. 스캔하지 않으신 분들께서는 스캔하시고 설문조사에 꼭 참여해 주시면 대단히 고맙겠습니다. 저희가 이제 당첨자가 집계가 되는 대로 집계를 해서 말씀을 드릴 예정이고요. 나머지 이벤트인 대상 수상 기업 맞추기 당첨자 결과는 아까 말씀드린 대로 본 세션이 끝난 후인 5시 30분 본 무대 뒤편에 자리한 트라이 스테이지에서 참가 기업의 최종 순위 발표와 시상식이 모두 끝난 후에 발표가 될 예정입니다. 네, 과연 대상의 영예는 어떤 기업이 차지를 하게 될지 모두 많이 궁금하실 텐데요. 끝까지 관심을 갖고 기다려주시면 감사하겠습니다.